Here's an excellent case study from SaaS MQL to demonstrate the principle of supply and demand in growth hacking. This is a B2B example. And there are a few things to think about here. So the first is we're looking at a channel that is undersaturated right now in business to business, and that is direct mail gift boxes. You can see on the left here that there's a very three-dimensional mail out that goes to the prospective customers. It's not a little letter, it's not a postcard, it's not a flyer that you get for a grocery store. It's something big that feels like a gift that you might receive when you're a kid getting a toy or something. So in one respect, the item itself is a form of supply and demand because you're doing something that's surprising and unusual by sending this out. The second factor that is undersupplied is that there's an incentive for actually doing the demo, doing the conversation with the sales team, and that is this $25 Amazon gift card. So for those of you that work in business-to-business marketing, how many times have you ever been actually offered money to talk to a salesperson? It doesn't happen enough, in fact, but that's a great opportunity for you because if you go out soliciting people saying, hey, I'm going to actually pay you for your time just to talk to my sales team or to talk to me or to do a demo of the product, people are going to respond. They're going to take notice of it. Even if they don't act on it, at least you will be noticed and remembered. I don't know how many junk emails I get, junk messages on LinkedIn that are just, hey, do you have time for a 15-minute chat? Like nobody wants to take you up on that offer unless they're highly, highly interested. But people are really going to be receptive to something where you're delivering in an unsaturated way, in a way that is more noticeable and more valuable. Now, there's a second way in which this is an undersupplied market, and it's just the fact that it's in cannabis. So cannabis, I imagine, is a high growth, high demand, undersupplied market that will probably become saturated over time. It'll become more competitive over time. But in the short term, being in this industry is probably a temporary competitive advantage just by being an early mover. So if we look at the results here, the investment in the mailboxes, the gift boxes themselves, was $5,000. Now, there are going to be other costs on top of that. So I'm guessing that the labor and the consulting was probably doubles the cost. So it's probably at least $10,000 plus time. You might say, let's say the total cost of doing this campaign was $15,000. Well, they generate $300,000 in pipeline, which is awesome. Now, the close rate on that might be pretty low. It might be, say, 25%, but still, you're doing quite well for yourself from a return on investment perspective. And we can see here that the average selling price is $12,000 per year. And during the same period, 3 of the sales qualified opportunities already converted into signed deals. So this is a perfect example of where when you're doing growth hacking, you need to think creative. You need to think about doing things that other people aren't doing. If other people are just blasting the market with cold emails and cold LinkedIn messages, you need to be on the forefront. You need to think about, okay, this is already saturated. What isn't saturated yet? What are marketers not using? What they're not using a lot of the time is gift boxes. What they're not doing is giving you gift cards to actually talk to the sales team. And then at some point, that's probably going to be saturated. So you need to start thinking about the frontier. What are those underutilized channels? What is undersupplied so that I can have a temporary advantage by working with those undersupplied channels and tactics?